Ever wonder why some cruisers always end up with spotless cabins, little extras, and surprise treats, while others get just the basics? It's not luck, and it's not a secret VIP club. Most of the time, it's thanks to one person, your cabin steward, the quiet pro who can turn a regular trip into one that feels effortless, personal, and even a little magical. In this video, I'll show you 14 simple things they secretly love you to do. Some are obvious, others are insider only. And number 14, no money involved, but it might be the most powerful thank you you can give. Let's get started. This happens more than you'd think. Your steward walks up, knocks once, waits, knocks again, nothing. Third knock, still no answer. So they walk away, looking like a failed ninja retreating down the hallway, knowing they'll have to come back later and shuffle their whole schedule. Most of the time, the culprit is the door sign. Do not disturb on one side, makeup room on the other. To you, it's a little sign. To your cabin steward, it's their GPS for the day. They're juggling up to 20 rooms. Every minute counts, and when you use that sign correctly, it keeps them on track and gets you faster service. Best time to flip it to makeup room? Right before breakfast. While you're off sipping coffee and planning your shore day, your room gets cleaned. No interruptions, no awkward timing. Some cruise lines now use electronic systems instead of physical signs. You might see a switch near the door or control it through the ship's app. Same idea applies. Don't leave it blank or unclear. The more consistent you are, the smoother it goes. It's a tiny gesture, but it sends a big message. You respect their time, and chances are they'll notice. Ever tried carrying a stack of fresh towels into a cabin only to trip over a flip-flop or get tangled in a beach bag strap? For your cabin steward, that's not a maybe, it's a daily obstacle course. They're trying to vacuum, mop, restock towels, and every stray shoe or open suitcase isn't just in the way, it's a potential ankle twister. Some stewards even joke it's like playing Tetris with your stuff, except there's no pause button and 15 other cabins waiting. The fix? Super simple. Use the storage space under the bed. Hang up your clothes. Put bags in the closet instead of the floor. Not only will your steward get the job done faster, you'll also get that moment everyone loves. Opening the door after a long day, stepping into a space that feels wide open, spotless, and ready for you to just drop onto the bed with a smile. Here's something most new cruisers don't realize. Your towel placement is basically a secret language. Towel on the floor? That means please replace this. Towel hanging up? I'm good. I'll reuse it. It's cruise ship Morse code. And yes, the crew speaks it fluently. But you'd be surprised how many people break the code. One steward told me about a guest who left a damp towel draped over a chair. They replaced it, thinking it was dirty, only for the guest to complain that their favorite shower towel had disappeared. Awkward. When this happens in every other room, it slows everything down and adds unnecessary stress to an already packed day. So stick to the towel code. Not only will you help your steward stay efficient, you'll also do the planet a tiny favor by avoiding unnecessary laundry. One steward told me they once found a half-eaten cupcake, still in its paper, wedged behind the curtain. Judging by the smell, it had been there since the previous cruise. Cabin stewards are pros at keeping your space spotless, but they're not detectives. They don't want to go on a scavenger hunt for empty wrappers, receipts, or that half-finished drink you left on the windowsill. When trash is scattered, under the bed, on the desk, behind the curtain, it turns a 30-second task into a 5-minute chore. So here's the move. Toss everything in one spot. Use the trash bin, or if you've got more than it can handle, put it all in a bag and leave it where it's easy to grab. It's the difference between a quick swipe and go and a full-blown crime scene cleanup, and you can bet your steward will notice the upgrade. Room service is one of those little cruise luxuries. Breakfast in bed, midnight dessert? Yes, please. But what you do with the tray afterward, that's where things go wrong. Some passengers leave it in the hallway. Half-eaten food, utensils, maybe even spilled drinks, right where people walk. On a narrow cruise ship corridor, that's not just gross, It's a tripping hazard. One steward told me they've watched guests trying to step over a puddle from a knocked-over water glass, balancing plates in one hand and a kid's stroller in the other. Unless your cruise line specifically says otherwise, keep trays in your cabin until your steward can collect them or call for removal. Carnival, for example, is fine with trays left in the hallway for pickup, while many other lines like Royal Caribbean or Celebrity prefer you keep them inside until staff collects them. A quick check on day one saves you the awkward knock or having to move the tray later. And if hallway drop-off is allowed, slide it neatly next to your door, not in the middle of the walkway. It's a small courtesy, but it keeps the ship clean, the steward safe, and you off the messy guest list. Yes, cruise lines add automatic gratuities, but a personal tip handed directly to your steward, that's something they remember. Cabin stewards work hard. Long hours, tight turnarounds, endless smiling, even when they're running on fumes. So when a guest takes the time to hand them a small envelope, look them in the eye and say thank you. That moment sticks. On one cruise, a couple gave their steward a tip on day one with a quiet, "Thanks in advance for taking care of us." From then on, their ice bucket was always full, and extra towels appeared without asking. Another guest waited until the last night, adding a handwritten card with their tip, something the steward told me they kept for months. There's no single right timing. What matters is making it personal. Add a note, say their name, let them know their work mattered. Just so you know, on some cruise lines like Norwegian or certain luxury sailings, the gratuities are already built into your fare. So technically, you don't have to tip extra, but trust me, when it comes straight from you, they'll still appreciate it. Because behind every fresh towel and folded blanket is a human being doing their best to make your vacation effortless. One steward told me about a guest who stopped them in the hallway just to say hi, and 10 minutes later, they were still standing there hearing about the guest's cat's birthday party. Meanwhile, 15 other cabins were waiting to be cleaned. A warm good morning, or a quick thank you, maybe calling them by name once in a while, that's more than enough. Cabin stewards really do appreciate friendly guests, but remember, they're on a tight schedule. A little kindness goes far, but turning a 2-second hello into a 5-minute monologue, that's not doing them any favors. What many people forget is that most stewards come from all over the world, places like Indonesia, the Philippines, India, or Eastern Europe. English may not be their first language. So when you're speaking with them, slowing down just a little and choosing simpler words can make a world of difference. You're not being condescending, you're being considerate. And if you need something specific, like an extra blanket or a small favor, jotting it down in clear English is often the easiest way to help them help you. Even if words aren't perfect, a genuine smile, kind tone, and respectful attitude are universal. It shows you recognize the human being behind the uniform, and that recognition means more than you might think. That's the kind of guest they'll always remember and quietly go the extra mile for. One guest told me they'd asked their steward for extra pillows, twice in the hallway. Hours later, no pillows. The next day, they tried leaving a short note on the desk and came back to find the pillows neatly stacked with a little "Enjoy" scribbled on top. Need extra pillows? More hangers? A bucket of ice for later tonight? You could try catching your steward in the hallway, or you could just leave a polite note. Simple, clear, and surprisingly effective. Something like, "Hi, if possible, could we have 2 extra towels today? Thank you so much." It's like sending a message in a bottle, except it actually gets delivered. No missed connections, no language confusion, just results. And if you really want to make their day, leave a little thank you note. Just one line, "Thanks for keeping the room so nice." It costs nothing, but it means everything. 3 hours after leaving their cabin, a couple came back to find their passports missing. Panic. Guest services called. Security involved. And guess who got questioned first? Their cabin steward. Sure, the in-room safe is there to protect your stuff. Passports, cash, jewelry, you name it. But here's something most cruisers don't realize. It also protects your cabin steward. When valuables are left out and something goes missing, or even just gets misplaced, the steward is often the first person suspected, even if they had nothing to do with it. That kind of stress? Unfair and unnecessary. So do everyone a favor. Lock up your important items. You'll have peace of mind, and your steward won't have to tiptoe around your nightstand like it's a crime scene, or wonder if that free souvenir on your desk is actually a $500 pair of designer sunglasses. We've all done it, grabbed a plate of fruit from the buffet or a late-night snack, then forgot about it, until it's warm, mushy, and quietly attracting fruit flies. Leftover food sitting out too long doesn't just smell weird. It can sour the air in your cabin, invite tiny bugs you don't want to meet, and make your cabin steward's job way harder. On one cruise, a guest left half a pizza on the balcony table overnight. By morning, it wasn't just cold. It had a seagull fan club gathered outside the railing. The crust had gone soggy, and the cabin smelled like a cheese factory in July. So here's the rule. If you're not eating it soon, toss it. And definitely don't leave open food containers overnight. A single forgotten slice of banana bread can turn your cozy cabin into a mini science experiment with its own swarm of uninvited research assistants. One steward told me the fastest way to make their hearts sink is walking into a cabin and finding every single towel from yesterday dumped in a heap on the floor. That's more than extra laundry. It's time they can't spend making the rest of your cabin sparkle. Fresh towels every day might feel like vacation luxury, but honestly, it's overkill. Your cabin steward is already juggling dozens of rooms. When every guest demands daily towel swaps, it eats up minutes that could have gone into dusting, polishing mirrors, or giving the bathroom an extra scrub. And yes, cruise lines are pushing toward more sustainable practices too. Less laundry means less water, less energy, and less strain on the environment. So unless your towel's truly done, hang it up and use it again. You'll help your steward breathe a little easier and walk back into a cabin that feels not only tidy, but genuinely fresh. This one's not required, but veteran cruisers swear by it. A thoughtful little gift can leave a lasting impression. We're not talking diamonds or duty-free cologne, just something simple and kind. A nice pen, a few wrapped candies, a little souvenir from home. It doesn't need to be expensive, it just needs to feel personal. And the best part? You can prepare ahead of time. Before your cruise even begins, pack a few small tokens like these. Think about your steward. Think about the long days they work, far from their families. A small gift on day one says, "I see you. I appreciate you." I once saw a steward receive a small box of local chocolates from a guest. He opened it right there in the hallway, broke into a huge smile, and said quietly, "I haven't had these since I was home." That moment stayed with both of them for the rest of the cruise. It's different from tipping. Money helps, but a physical gift feels more personal. It's something they can use, keep, or even take home to share. And when you've taken the time to choose it before you ever stepped on board, it tells them this wasn't an afterthought. Some cruise lines even have guidelines about what crew can accept, so it's worth checking in advance. That way, your gesture is not only kind, but also allowed and guaranteed to be remembered. On one cruise, a guest's cabin AC started blowing warm air in the middle of the afternoon. They told their steward on the way to the pool. By the time they came back, less than 30 minutes later, the AC was humming cold again. If they'd called guest services, they probably would have still been waiting for a technician. Something not working in your cabin? Maybe the sink's leaking, the lights are flickering, or the AC feels off. Your first instinct might be to call guest services, but your cabin steward is often the faster route. They've got a direct line to the right crew members and can usually get it fixed before guest services even finishes logging your complaint. Just mention it politely. "Hey, the shower's dripping a bit. No rush, but just a heads up." Boom. You've reported the issue and earned points for being respectful. It's faster, friendlier, and it tells them you trust them enough to handle it, which is one of the simplest ways to strengthen that passenger-crew connection. One sentence from you could help renew your steward's contract or even get them promoted. Tips are great. Gifts are thoughtful. But the most meaningful thing you can do for your cabin steward? Mention their name in the post-cruise survey. Most passengers skip the survey or rush through it. But here's what you might not know. Cruise lines do read them. And when you take 2 minutes to write a steward's name with a kind comment, it can go further than you think. We're talking bonuses, promotions, even contract renewals. For many crew members, those guest surveys are one of the few ways their hard work gets officially recognized. So before you disembark, jot down their name. Snap a photo of the name tag if you forget. And when that email hits your inbox, don't ignore it. Use it. A few words from you could help change someone's career. So there you have it, 14 small things that can make a big difference. They don't cost much. They don't take much effort. But when you do them, your cabin steward notices, and more often than not, that little bit of kindness, it finds its way back to you. Better service, a cleaner room, maybe even a surprise towel animal with sunglasses and a cheeky grin. And remember, just one sentence in that post-cruise survey could help your steward get a bonus, a promotion, or even keep their contract. That's the kind of impact worth sharing. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, hit subscribe for more cruise tips, and before you forget, save this video so you can rewatch it before your next sailing. Now it's your turn. What's the nicest thing a cabin steward has ever done for you? Or do you leave gifts or tips? What's your personal tradition on board? Got a clever trick you've used to thank your cabin steward? Share it in the comments. We might feature it in our next video. Until next time, sail kind, tip well, and don't forget to use that door sign.